Hello, welcome once again to Program for Everybody, Getting Started with Python from Coursera. We are now on week 5 module, and we are trying to finish an assignment. The assignment goes, write the program to prompt for a score between 0.0 and 1.0. So we're basically going to create a program that would ask you or a user to enter a grade. It's a grading system basically. So it's going to ask you to enter only values between 0.0 to 1.0. And then if you enter values outside of that range, it should give you a specific error message. Otherwise, it will print the following grade for that corresponds to the score or grade that you've entered. And then to test it, we need to enter 0.85 for the example, and it should, according to the values listed in here or defined in here, it should give us a B output, which is what is basically a grading system. So if you entered anything that range between greater than or equal to 0.8, it will give us a score of B. So we're going to create that. It's already text editor or an actual programming environment called Spider. We're using this to create a program create a Python program. So to start off, we are going to input this given this particular line. So there is already a first command line that has already been given. This is basically just to prompt us for a prompt that would ask us to enter a value. If you're going to run this code, check it, it would come up like this. This command line prompts this entry prompt for us. And we're going to click out of that. Click OK. Of course, it's incomplete, so it gives the error message. Now going back in here, we're going to complete the program. First, we're going to let's put in the given command line first, and then we are going to. What do you think? Next is what value that will be put in the prompt should be converted to a float, so that our program, which is Python, will recognize that we're entering not an integer, but a float or a decimal numerical value. So we're going to rename sc as a new variable, and we make that a float version. We're going to turn the score or whatever value you entered for score will be converted as a float. So score. The whole command line goes as sc, which is now the new value for whatever value that you will be entering under the score variable will be converted to float. So sc is equal to the float value of the score. All right, next line is, it's telling us that we need to input values only between 0.0 and 1.0. To implement that, we need to, actually prior to dealing with this particular conditions in here, or requirements with the grading system, we also need to make sure that the prompt that we will be creating would not accept any other values other than numerical decimal values. Nor an integer values could be accepted, but it will be converted to decimals through a float function anyway. However, what we need to worry about is what users would enter word value or alphabetical value here should give us an error message. So to do that, we need to create a condition wherein we need to put sc under the try command line command block. And this is how it goes. If sc is equals to float score, of course, if there's any other value that we'll be entering from other than what could be converted into a float, which would only be the case if you entered a numerical value, then it would give you an error message. The error message should be written under the exact line. So it will be entered under this. Let's write down the message. Or no, the condition needs to be created first. So we'll say, oh no, okay, so if a particular user tries to enter a value other than the numeric sequence code or the numeric value, it should give us an error message, and the error message should be executed through this print function. And it would say something about not entering the proper value. So please enter numerical value. Okay. Let's try running that first. So here we go. There's a console. Let's say you enter 10. Instead of putting it as a numerical value, you spelled out 10. You can enter. See, it gives us an error message. Could not convert to string. But the error message that we need to show up there, oh, I know what it is. Because we write it down differently. There you go. So let's try this again. Try entering 10. There. Please enter numerical value. Let's run it again. And let's say you enter 1.0, accept it, and it did. Okay, so far we don't have any results showing up because we haven't laid out the command line or conditional command blocks that would define what is the value of that particular value in terms of our grading system. To do that, we need to create another lines of conditional statement. Remember that we need to make sure that it will not accept values that does not fall within this range. This is where we need to take care of that first. So we need to create a command line that would basically say that if sc is greater or equal to this time 1.0 or 1.1. Why is it like that? Because 1.1 is greater than 1.0. So remember, you should accept up until 1.0, only what goes above that should no longer be accepted. So hence our code says 1.1 or greater than 1.1. So what's going to happen if that particular condition is met is that it will print something out. So it will print the string, and once again, so it should say error. Please enter values between or within. So within 0.0 and 1.0. Right? Or it should also prompt for the same error message if it went below 0.1. So this time I'm going to use else if, just to make sure it will continue on to this particular line without having to perform, or basically doing both conditional, well, it would not do both conditions, so it's just either or kind of thing. So SC is, if it's this time lower than or equals to negative, I'm saying negative 1.0. Because why it says that? It's because what's lower than 0.0 is negative 1. So anything that goes below that should prompt this same error message. So I'm just going to have to copy this particular error message right here. Copy. Okay, it's going to do that. So let's just type it. Print. It's kind of difficult to copy it with one hand, while the other hand is holding the phone. Oh, there we go. Anyway, okay, let's see. Let's test that first, shall we? So let's run this and get this properly here. So let's say we enter negative 1 in here. Negative 1. Alright, see, give us a message because of this particular line here. And if we enter anything that is equal to negative 1, equal or less than negative 1, it should give us the same message. So let's try it again. Let's say negative 2. We enter, for instance, negative 1.03. Let's say 1.3. Okay, pop us a second message. Continuing on with the rest of the conditions for the grading system, we're going to be using the same program line. So SC, if it's not equals, it's greater than or equal to 0.9. Should bring us a grade of E. Okay, let's test that. If it's equals or greater than 0.9. Let's start first with 0.9. Alright, plus with the letter E here, meaning that it's equivalent to grade A. Try that again. For instance, you put in 1.0. It gives us an A. That's basically how it goes. I'm going to do the rest of the programming. So, I just finished the rest of the program. Here's how it goes now. So this one, this condition, if it's greater than or equal to 0.9, it would give us an A. And going in here, if it's 0.8, it should be B. Which is the operator, not the operator, what do you call this? The mathematical operator that we use to do the comparison is greater than or equal to. So if it's 0.8, it's B. If it's greater than or equal to 0.7, it's C, and so on and so forth. Only thing is that if it goes beyond this range, it should give us an error message that it will not, whatever value that's outside that range should prompt us the message and will basically terminate the program. Also, if it enters a value that is not a numerical value, it should quit the program and it should give us this error message. Now we're going to try that. We're going to run this program in here, the command prompt. So let's start off first by going to the root cd dot. Alright, so we're going to access the program that we just saved, this code here from Python. I've saved it somewhere. And for us to be able to run it, we just need a program that would execute that particular code that we just created. So I'm just going to demonstrate how that is located through command prompt. So we'll start first with this. And we'll go to a particular directory where the program is stored. In this case, it's my desktop. So we go there. Directories after directories. So OneDrive. Spell it. CD desktop. There you go. Once you're in desktop, I'm not familiar with the name of the folder. So there, it's called Python for everybody. Alright, let's go to Python for everybody. And then again, there's a folder where this particular program is stored. It's under week 5 underscore 03. Let's go there, week 5 underscore 03. Let's try to check where the files inside that. You got 2 files. I named this file as this one. Right there. Oops, this is error message. There. We're gonna run that. So Python, which will basically, it will basically prompt Windows main prompt to launch Python. And then type in the name of the program, which is x underscore 03 underscore, no, 03 underscore 03. Oh, I moved out of that directory, that's why. Week 5. I know. There we go. So basically, this is the prompt we're supposed to get. We're just testing the program out first, okay? Let's say we enter a grade of 0.09. Oh, come on. 0.9. There, give us an A. Let's try like that again. We enter 0.8. Give us a B. Do that again. 0.6 should give us a C. Oh, no, a D. Anything that is put in here lower than 6, it should be an F. Let's say 0.4. What? Oh, no. We need to run the program first. 0.4. There it gives an 8. How about we enter a value that's not within the range? For instance, -1 or -2, which is way below 0.0, outside of 0.0 up to 1.0 range. So let's say -2. There, it gives an error message that grade is out of range. Enter a value between 0.0 and 1.0. Now let's say it went way beyond 1.0 to actually giving a grade of 1.2. Again, it gave us an error message. So there, we're ready to submit this and see what, see if it's going to be accepted in our unit. Let me just copy this whole script in here. Put that in here. Because the code runs, it's just that we need to, for the sake of this test, we need to enter a value of 0.85. So let's try that again. 0.85. Or just to make sure that's quick 0.85. Should give us a B for an answer. Here, B. 0.8 is B. Is B. Replicating this is B. Alright. And probably been doing this for too long, but it's no longer giving us the option to save it or storing the grade, so I'm just probably going to submit this another time. Let's see if we can reset this. Refresh this. Okay, good. Now let's on the page. Let's just try launching that. Oh. Try to see. It's not allowing me to enter the code anymore. Try to see. There we go. Let's check this. 0.85. Okay. There we go. Okay. Alright, grade updated on the server. Yay. Click done. We're all set.